Not sure who's if there's any people already live, but yeah, we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Cardano Community Podcast. Um, I'm not sure if I can see there's not anyone yet joined, but
Yeah.
if you're listening, after the recording, then welcome. We're happy that you joined. Welcome that you're listening in, on this conversation between Garry Golden and myself, Denise Brunei. I think it's really interesting. One thing before we start, Garry,
Mhm.
with all of this, let's say craziness going on with COVID. I
Yep.
think myself, struggling from the after effects of COVID, called long COVID.
Mhm.
Really struggling with my health, easily tired and stuff. If you are suffering from any effects of COVID, seek help. You know,
Mhm.
um, go to your doctor, specialist, or whoever that may be. And find help because it is serious. I
Mhm.
do consider myself one of the lucky ones, but yeah, this COVID has caused many people their lives. So
Mhm.
please take that serious. All right. That said, yeah, let's move
Truth.
on. A lot of you people in the community know me as um, Denisha Brunei. And there's one thing I'm going to be revealed to you during this meeting. It's new to Garry as well. Anyhow, Garry Golden, thank you very much for joining us today. This is our third conversation that we're
Yeah.
having.
Yeah.
We try to make this, into a yearly recurring event, having you on the show and just listening to your viewpoints, about Cardano, where we came from, where we're heading, and you as a futurist, you have that mindset, you know what to look at, you study those patterns, movements. And I'm just curious to learn, what is your viewpoint of this? Where do you see the community going? Where do you see Cardano going? So
Yeah.
yeah, enlighten us there, Garry. We're curious to learn.
Sure. So we really need to be focusing on the transitions, right?
Okay.
Where are we coming from? Where are we now? And where are we headed? And I think you and I know we've been in Cardano since virtually the beginning. And at the beginning, kind of in that 2018, 2019 period, it was we were on Twitter. People were on Twitter, but you didn't. I downloaded my whole Twitter history. I didn't really publicly start talking about Cardano until January 2018. So,
Uh-huh.
soon after, right, launch. But
Yeah.
it was very loose connective tissue across the community, and then the ITN, the Incentivized Test Network, and the emergence of SPOs, like that was the next transition,
Yeah.
and it started to solidify, especially on Twitter, the Cardano community,
Yeah.
and people
Correct.
started to develop friendships, right? Like having a real love and a sense of camaraderie and community across people. And
Yeah.
now we're rallying around the staking pools, and then that era kind of has now transformed where we have our first real use case, and it's not DeFi, right? It's the
No.
NFTs. It's the NFTs. So what I see happening is there are a number of different transitions. One is the culture of crypto at large, right, has gone from being driven largely by like libertarian type folks, whether or not people like are full power libertarian or not. It was that early adopter community around that, like, let's destroy the banks and freedom and blah blah blah. They are now being um, uh, kind of, let's say, overtaken by the artists and the communities that are starting to build around art and artists and NFTs. And that core OG libertarian world's not going away. It will always be kind of the soul of crypto. But the
Yeah.
internet started off being a bunch of academics, right? The internet, the first web pages were academics trading back and forth, and now it's everything, right? And crypto is going to
Correct.
go from being like OG style culture to mainstream culture, and we are seeing right now the emergence of these communities. And why I am so obsessed is I think that what crypto is really going to transform is our sense of community-based economics. Right? I don't think that in the short or medium term cryptocurrencies, any cryptocurrency has a really plausible path towards displacing mainstream fiat currencies and stores of value. I think it's much more likely that in the short and medium term, the next 10 to 15 years, crypto is going to create new concepts, new models of currency, social tokens, NFTs, new types of equity ownership models. Like, it's going to create a new model for exchanging value and currency. It's not going to displace or replace the incumbent, because the incumbent's not going to let you do that anytime soon, right?
Definitely not. No.
So I want us to take more seriously what's happening in these Twitter spaces and YouTube communities around Cardano NFTs, because they're not just a social place for Cardano. They are a community that has economic exchanges.
Oh yeah,
they have transactions. And anyway, I will pause there. But for me, that is the big story. The artists have arrived. The artists have arrived.
I like actually that you touch on that part with the artists, the NFTs, because just the other day I was browsing through what's that again? Pool.pm/tokens, and just the amount of NFTs that are being printed, that are being traded on a daily basis. It's fascinating to see. But the level of quality, just compared to, like, let's say 4 or 5 months ago, I think it would be about roughly 4 months ago, has increased. Has increased a lot. And I've seen a lot of really good, high quality NFTs, and people are really starting to showcase, what they can do, that artistic, what's that word? It's their creativity. And I think what I'd like to see happen, you mentioned it earlier, right? That is more taking that to another level. And I think a lot of artists are actually waiting for that to really come, and that's the royalty part. You as an artist, you can put all your soul, in creating whatever NFTs there is, but it really becomes to you then, more important when you actually can earn from that work, not from the initial sale, but from every sale that happens thereafter.
And how it's used, how is it used? Not just displayed, but how is it used, and how does it bring value?
Exactly. But can you elaborate on that a little bit more there?
Well, I think there's a well, first let's just back up in terms of like what we're really talking about is the era of like programmable NFTs. We're not talking about the buying buying JPEGs. We're talking about JPEGs that have function and that have an experience, a customer, a consumer, a community supporter experience baked into it. But the NFT is the key to unlock all these experiences. And NFTs are fundamentally about loyalty and rewarding loyalty.
Exactly.
And I think that there are going to be a bunch of different models. One is, that you have a piece of digital content. It's it's art, it's audio, whatever it is, and it gets resold, and the value goes up, and the artist gets a cut. That will come. But really, what I think is an equally important story is how communities that are driving the virality and propagation of digital content and media get compensated for what they do. So in today's world, let's say you're the big YouTube star, you got a Twitch channel, and you make $1 million a year in advertisements. But really, that success is not just your work, but it is 15 or 20 of your top followers that they themselves have people that they share with and they propagate. And you would not earn $1 million a year if not for those 5 or 10 or 15 people right?
Ah,
And what NFTs and this community model start to bring into the conversation is a more equitable distribution across the community in terms of who brings value, right? Because right
yeah,
now it's all going to the creator, and I foresee the communities are going to start to have some backlash against the creator if they're not compensated the way that they should. So there's gonna be tension, and there's gonna be a healthy conversation about who should earn what. But
yeah,
this is an entirely new model because we can understand the nature of transactions as they propagate across a marketplace, and
right.
we can program in that rewards for people that are critical in the propagation.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
there's the story of like, oh, my JPEG sold for 10 times what I sold it originally, and I can get compensation for that. But there's also the story from the community member that if my tweet adds to, you know, the total value that's created, then I should get compensated.
You,
So
but
does that make sense?
it does definitely. It's going to be difficult, of course, because the thing is, you can't really program that. I think, right? I mean, like if I put
Mm,
out a tweet, let's say I'm this this
yeah.
huge influencer, and I buy, we have a great relationship. You're an artist. You put out something there, and I have a really great, let's say follower count. Put out that tweet out there, and then all of a sudden you have 20, 30 people buying your stuff. Just based on off of my recommendation. Yeah, there's no way, within the algorithm or within that code, that you can um, compensate me, unless you actually do that manually. We come to
Oh
some
yeah.
sort of agreement, right?
So I would say that that's inevitable. I mean, that's the programmable NFT, right? That's the affiliate. The affiliate link
Ah,
has a distribution code, and you might not settle it until 6 months after the whole thing has shaken out. But
yeah.
that's affiliate marketing. I mean,
Ah,
that's affiliate
that,
marketing, right? When you
yeah,
say, if you don't have a ledger, go in the comments section below. I've got an affiliate link. That's all it is.
yeah.
NFTs are just programmable affiliate links.
Wow. I
So
love this.
anyway, yeah. So this for me is the big thing. For the first time in our digital era since
Yeah,
1990s internet, we have people paying for digital content.
yeah,
For the first time, everyone wants everything to be free on the internet. And then
yeah.
also, my pet peeve is they want to complain about advertising and tech surveillance. It's like, well, if you would have paid for Twitter, if you would have paid for Facebook, you wouldn't have ads,
That's
but you don't want
exactly.
to
Yeah.
pay, right? But anyway, I digress there. The first time that human beings have paid for digital content kind of at scale is in 2020, 2021 crypto NFTs,
Wow.
right?
And it's just the beginning. It's
It's
just the
just the
beginning.
beginning. It's just the
Because I
beginning.
think what you just mentioned there, something that I didn't even consider, but the use of um, referral links,
Everything's going to
right?
be a referral link. And then you're
Wow.
going to have problems of people gaming it and people being, not genuine. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be that dynamic. But
Of
but
course.
we need to start recognizing and rewarding the contributions that people play in the economic success of a brand, of a product, of a piece of art, of digital content, right? Because it's
Yeah,
not
but
just to the creator.
yeah, I fully agree with you. I
Yeah.
remember some years ago, one person said that work should be paid or compensated,
Yeah.
right? And of course, it's not only the creator that works towards that success, but it's also their whole, in Dutch we say, the achterban. So basically,
Yeah.
the whole community behind of them, basically, who was helping make that a success.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so basically, what you're saying is that, okay, in the creation of all of that, those NFTs, they should also embed, let's say, a how do you say, a feature
Yeah.
where people can actually pull or create their own referral link and then be compensated for their work, basically.
Yeah. 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 And that's where I think things are headed. When I think of, so
Yeah.
what fascinates me about this notion is that the Cardano community and the NFT community in particular has an opportunity to get ahead of this and to not, you know, not act as if it doesn't exist as an option, because it does and it will emerge.
Yeah.
And what I think, you know, just from a cultural standpoint makes Cardano so unique is kind of the supportive, you know, love fest that you find in so many kind of sub Cardano communities, right? It's pretty consistent for me to step into a room or to see some tweet of a person that I don't know, and they're like, "Oh, the Cardano community has been so welcoming to me, and it's been so great." And it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, motherfuckers, like that's how it, that's how we grew it, and we have
Exactly.
to keep that. We have to keep that amidst all the drama. But that support is going to have to also translate into recognition and rewarding of the people that support you. And if an artist makes a big bucket of money because the community rallied around that artist and propagated it, the community should share in that as well, right? That's
Wouldn't you say? I mean, the current status of the way things are going, I would say the way how the community kind of like, let's say, joined in on that success.
yeah.
That is, if the value of that NFT goes up, basically, you know, can
Yeah,
they?
yeah,
Because then
yeah,
that is the only way.
yeah.
You know, but
Yeah, and that's his first stage. That's his first stage. Yeah.
what I've read is, you know, now and again on Twitter, some people come out and say, yeah, but the NFTs, that's just, you know, current hype. You know, within a year or two, you know, that hype is going to be, yeah, kind of
It'll go
the
away.
hype of the NFT.
Yeah.
Do you believe that as well?
Well, we won't be saying NFTs.
Ah.
Do you remember when we used to say, oh, I'd say, hey, go to the website and say, what's the website? And I'd say, HTTP :
Back in the day,
backslash
exactly.
www.
I know. Yeah.
Nobody's going to say, check out my NFT. They're going to say, check out my song, check out my video.
And that's what you meant with mainstream.
Yeah, the idea that NFT is a linguistic, you know, is a thing is yeah. I mean, it'll be around, but it's not that every piece of digital content, every relationship will have a programmable NFT like function to it. Like this is and this is hard stuff to wrap our head around. Like we're super early, but I am obsessed with understanding the Cardano communities that are going to model the future of economic transactions and activities across the world.
Go ahead. Do you see Cardano leading that movement?
Well, I only see it because that's all I pay attention to. I mean, I've given, you know, all love for the Ethereum world and blah, blah, blah. But I have completely stopped following what's going on those, you know, those chains, because it's just too much. I can't even keep up with what's happening in Cardano.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, a year ago, I could say confidently that I knew probably 70% of the people that were active and public in Cardano. Yeah. And I go into these Twitter spaces and I'm like flipping through. I'm like, oh, what the hell? Oh my God, when did these people, what? And I can't keep up. So I'm not keeping up with Ethereum. So is Cardano the most innovative? You know, I'm sure I know there's really innovative stuff happening elsewhere, but we're not going to lag far behind. And we've got the UTXO, and we've got we've got all the foundational advantages that you and I know are very real. So I have no doubt that Cardano will be the most innovative kind of NFT art community, creator community of all the chains. It's bigger than DeFi, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. I have another question there, Garry. Just curious to see how you think of that, or what advice you can give. I mean, I'm not an artist, not creative at all, you know, but my wife is. You know, she's the most creative person that I know, actually. You know, and second to her comes my daughter. You know, but let's say me as an artist, you know, I can create these wonderful, let's say drawings or whatever it may be. What would you advise me, or let's say, what would you advise me to do to build a community? Where to start?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. It depends on where you want that community to exist. Do you want it to be local? Do you want it to be in your local community? Do you want it to be global? I don't really have a great answer to that one because I don't particularly do that. I watch other people do it, and the short answer is they hustle. They hustle.
Yeah.
You got to put a
correct.
ton of time and effort into it, and you got to, there's a whole industry around, how to be a creator and an influencer. But it's definitely like based off of the amount of hustle and your luck, And in some cases, I think here's the thing is, and what I love about the Cardano NFT world is, you jump into these conversations and half of the room is another creator and they're all supporting each other.
Yeah.
So if I was an artist, if I was her, I would just start joining other people's communities.
Yeah. I see this happen mainly on Twitter Spaces.
Yeah.
There's almost every single day, Garry, I see a lot of these NFT spaces on Twitter.
Multiple. We cannot, let's go back to, maybe summer of 2019, early on in Cardano, it was like Crow and a couple folks, CryptoVisor, all these folks, right? And then Philippe came out.
Yeah.
And you're right. You remember this, like, oh my God, here's somebody talking about it. And then Rick, and then Barry, and then all these people, and then boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Twitter Spaces has blown me away. Ethereum didn't have Twitter Spaces. They didn't have Twitter Spaces, right? When they were at the stage that we are now.
Yeah, exactly.
They did not have Twitter Spaces.
Correct.
Right? We do. So I think that Twitter Spaces is probably the most important lever of driving growth in Cardano right now in terms of the expansion of the community. But we need this, the Futurist hat on right now is like, we need to recognize that in 2023, a year from now, let's just say provocatively that the top 5 voices of Cardano globally aren't even in the community today. The top 5 voices of Cardano of 2023 woke up this morning and they've never heard the word Cardano. They've never heard the word Cardano, right? We need to recognize what happens when all this stuff starts to shift from, early adopter to early mainstream, because early mainstream comes in, they don't care about the people that were there at the beginning. People that made, Uber and Instagram, they don't pay homage to the founders of the web and the internet, and they don't care about those people. The foundation has been built, right? So the big shift with crypto, right? It's just like the .com back in the day. In the mid-late 1990s, we saw the emergence of the web, and everyone said, how do you get rich? How do you create wealth? How do you create value? And it was buy the stock. You buy the .com stock. And, that kind of worked out for some people. For the most part, it didn't. 15 years later, 2010, 2020, that whole stretch, we realized that the wealth was created not by the stocks, but by the fact that the internet existed, that we had YouTube for video and PayPal for the payments and, Squarespace. It is not, crypto is not, the wealth is not going to be built around buying the coins. The wealth is going to be built by having decentralized identity, by having decentralized finance, by having decentralized governance. And when all that stuff happens, people aren't going to think, I'm going to get rich off of buying ADA. They're going to get rich because they use ADA as a base layer token, and the wealth is created from all the tools that are built on top of Cardano.
That's correct.
And this is going to be the group that is going to be the beginning of that transition, right? They might be buying Cardano, they might be buying ADA, they might be buying blah, 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 but they're trying to make money and build wealth and value off of the fact that crypto exists, not off the coins. And that's what we need. That's what we need.
How do we get there? I mean, like, obviously, we're pretty early. Right?
Yeah.
We don't see that digital identity yet. And
we experiment. You spend tens of millions of dollars buying a bunch of digital JPEGs with each other. You figure it out by being just youthfully naive and optimistic and hopeful and ideological, and nothing can stop you. And it's that, like, the hopium of crypto. There's a lot of things you got to watch out for, but it is the fuel, man.
It's basically pioneering.
Absolutely.
Pioneering with each other.
Absolutely. So we need to just keep on innovating. Let's just go back to the fact that, again, that you and I cannot keep up with what's happening. Can't keep up. It used to be, remember the Ethiopia deal? It was 6 months for one deal.
I know.
Like, everyone, the hype. Now every single day there's a new project, a real estate project, a music project, a digital identity, a telecom. I can't keep up. So it's happening. How are we going to get there? We do what we do. It's happening.
It's difficult. I totally agree with you there. It is difficult to keep up, right?
Yeah.
But what I sometimes wonder, right? I mean, when you are, let's say, part of a blockchain project that's as big as Cardano, right? With so many deals in the pipeline, I guess the way to really, let's say, attract even bigger investors, even bigger partners, governments, etc., is communication.
Absolutely.
Right, and not. I mean, you have the community. Whatever you say, the community is going to back you up, because it's enthusiastic and everyone sees the future. They can see the potential of those deals. So 100% we will support that. But as a, let's say, developing company, people need information.
Absolutely.
Right, and it's not only, let's say, one time dropping something. Hey, we have this deal in Ethiopia. You have this whole presentation. We interview with the Minister of Education.
Yeah.
But what happened? I mean, now we're almost a year further. What's up with the deal? People need. Sometimes you have to keep those things warm in the community, because, as you mentioned, time flows, right? And as time flows, you always have newcomers. Right?
Absolutely.
People bigger than the previous ones. They're much more interested in previous ones, have better ideas than the previous one. And if they see, wow, these guys are doing really good stuff. They're able to bring this deal in, and not only bring the deal in, but they're actually doing something.
Yeah.
But we only have
I mean, I guess I'm asking, like, is the strategy that everybody that's in Cardano really understands the big picture of what's being built on Cardano, or is it that they really care passionately about the one thing that they actually care about? I think it's that. I think it's there are going to be people that need to understand the big picture of Cardano, but the reality is you build in an emergent fashion where it's, doesn't, if there's someone, there are people coming into Cardano right now that really have no idea who Charles Hoskinson is. They're not Charles, like, Charles is talking, I gotta listen, and I love Charles, but, like, I mean, come on, right? There are people that they don't give a crap about MPO versus SPO. They don't care about anything that Cardano Twitter loses its mind over every day. They care about this really cool art community that meets on Twitter Spaces and brings them joy. So that's how Cardano grows is less drama. Leave the drama to the OGs and the devs and the people like you and I that are like care about
Yeah.
these like really minutia, you know. You want
Correct.
people to not see the big picture. Actually, I think you don't want them to see the big picture. You want them to see the one thing that they love that's on Cardano and they're passionate and they grow it, and then we have a million other people doing the same thing, and that's
within their own
yeah,
sub
yeah,
communities.
yeah. You and I need to understand the big picture, right?
Yeah.
As you know, as you know, people in the community that are I think serve a role in understanding that big picture, give that perspective. But the average person, I've always said that Cardano would be successful when, you know, a young girl somewhere in the world, you know, gets uses ADA or Cardano and uses it for years and years and years, and she's never heard the name Charles Hoskinson. She doesn't even know. I mean, my kids, like Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, they don't know who these people are.
Oh,
They
wow.
don't care who they are. They know the name-ish, right? So I think we need to get people to just use Cardano as a platform for their individual thing, and
exactly, and not be too concerned about, hey, where did it come from, basically.
Yeah, what happened to that deal? What happened to that telecom deal? Nah, let those people, you know, and half the stuff's going to fail anyway, right? There's going to be a civil war in the country that you signed the contract. Like things are going to go wrong. And this is the other topic to bring up. This community's got to grow up. It's got to grow up and learn how to have hard conversations and not throw a hissy fit like, oh, if this doesn't happen and I'm leaving Cardano. Oh my, okay, bye-bye. I mean, come on. There's going to be really hard decisions. There's going to be, you know, nefarious actors. There's going to be people that use Atala Prism for bad things. And like, we can't have a community that's just a bunch of drama, you know, drama kings and queens. It's really just exhausting with people like putting out this, like, if this doesn't happen, I will leave. It's like, okay.
But then again, the question is, who are these people who actually put those things out there? I don't think those are like, let's say, the core people of the community. Those are probably, let's say, newcomers who doesn't really understand.
I think there's some. Yeah, I mean, some people, you know, are more OG, but it's more that we have to recognize as a community. I don't want to be overly dramatic about it. We need to just recognize it. Look, guys, we. You know, do we prioritize small or large transactions? Do we have a fee structure? Like that is that's like a 6-year-old trying to decide whether they want vanilla or chocolate ice cream. That is not the hardest problem and decision that we're going to have to make as a decentralized network. It's not. It's important, but we got to recognize that there's a lot of really difficult decisions that are going to have to be made. And as a community, you just got to grow up.
I think as we grow, there will more and more, let's say, difficult situations, pressing issues will present themselves. Definitely. Then again, as you rightfully said, those issues are also important. Definitely.
Yeah. They're critical, and you know, and I don't want to like throw that one, you know, the multiple whatever, like under off to the side. These are critical questions, but it's not the hardest one we're gonna have to deal with in the next.
No, because there's actually what I would have said, you know, like to those guys. I follow those. I try to follow those discussions on Twitter as well. You know, I see them, you know, emerge from time to time. You know, people having all these questions about, you know, scaling, about the fees, you know, the block size, and et cetera, those kind of stuff. Understandably. But what I do love about IOG and this, they actually give a very clear path, you know, how they're going to solve all of this. You know, because people don't read, you know, they come out, you know, with those kind of stuff. But we can.
It's just kind of rise above it. That's all. It's, you know, it's good. We got a lot of hard decisions to make. And then I think the other thing with the community is I feel like that there's going to be an opportunity for us to get very specific about regional strength with Cardano. So clearly we've had this like Pan-African strategy has been since
Yeah.
the beginning. Eastern Europe, I think is a place that we have much more presence and leverage in the past. Latin America, South America, Southeast Asia, Indonesia, like
Yeah.
China, like what are the places that we're going to see regional strength emerge in terms of like domestic or regional uses of Cardano? I think that that's going to start because right now we're kind of like a globally connected swarm.
Yeah.
But if you're really going to bring, and it's beautiful, if you're really going to bring like change on the ground, you've got to have localized adoption, right?
Wow.
So
How do you? I mean, of course, the community will play a very important role here because local communities, right? But the local communities, the question is, do they, as individuals, do they have the influence, level of influence to, let's say, come to those levels, where we can introduce the Cardano to let's say, on a government level, Yeah.
I think it's those individuals will start to form entities and businesses. Like in the New York City Cardano world, back in the day, it was Jeff Sean and I kind of started it, and this guy Moto has come in past year and like lit a fire, right? And the community is rallying. Everyone loves each other, super supportive, and there are many side conversations about, all right, when we're ready, let's the 10 of us put money in and fund somebody and form a company, right? Like people are going to start to form entities and businesses that are not just individual faces, but organizations. So I love that. And those people will step up. And then the other thing I think with the community outside of that localization by region is the expansion around interoperability, right? So clearly, like the chain of chains vision, I think will have its day, and you'll just be bridging from whatever chain.
Right.
But it does appear that this extended UTXO is a significant point of differentiation across chains. And for me, the most fascinating kind of like expansion of the Cardano community has been this Ergo community parallel journey, right?
Yeah.
Ergo is its own separate chain. It's its own separate thing. It's an independent thing, but
correct.
There's just no way that it would be where it is today without the Cardano community also loving it and giving it love and giving it attention and giving it support. And I think there's just a fascinating near-term story about the integration of multiple consensus mechanisms and the proof of stake, proof of work merging together. So I think that the Cardano community may at some point sit under a larger umbrella of this extended UTXO the alliance. You've got Nervos, you've got a bunch of other, ETXs, because that for me is the most powerful future-proof approach to cryptocurrency, right? It seems so clear to me that the greatest innovations are going to be coming out of the UTXO world.
Wow.
I mean, I just think it's totally obvious. It's going to take time, but from an enterprise adoption standpoint, the case for a UTXO is so clear, right? The security, the scalability, the certainty, the programmability, the resource determination.
Foundation.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't tell you the number of people that I speak to kind of casually that, think Cardano's ghost chain or whatever it is, and they're really into Poly or whatever it is. And it's like, do you know what a UTXO versus an account model is? And they don't. right? They don't understand the difference between Ethereum and Cardano.
I've been searching. I've been searching. Let's a very simple explanation of the difference between the account model and the UTXO.
Yeah.
How would you describe that?
The simplest way, it's the bank account is the Ethereum EVM. The account model is a bank account. So an hour ago, I had $100 in my bank account, and then I went around the corner and I bought $5. I swiped the card, and then I went across the street and I swiped the card, and then I came back across the street and I swiped the card. 3 transactions within 5 minutes, and then someone looks to my bank account and they say, "How much does this person have?" They're trying to settle a global state that pulls in all 3 of those transactions that are happening at different times, at different places, and different vendors. It's a global state. That's the balance. That's the account model. That's EVM. The UTXO, Bitcoin, Cardano, etc., is a localized approach. When I want to know what's the balance, I am checking a single address, a single record. There is no global settlement. When a UTXO happens and it gets spent, it gets killed. New UTXO. When that one gets spent, new to UTXO. New one. Slash and burn, slash and burn. There's never an uncertainty related to what's the actual balance. Well, we're still waiting to see this settle. It's locked up in a contract. And the near term is that the localized thing is this is the concurrency debate, but it's so obvious that these people are going to come up with innovative solutions to work around it. And at the end of the day, the only people that need like 100% time real are like high frequency traders, right? Most use cases for Cardano are not going to require concurrency. They won't require, sub-second settlement.
That was I remember when I read it, that was my concern. It's probably not for this conversation indeed, right? But because indeed it is a fair, how do you say, concern, right? Because what's gonna happen, like you've seen it with the Sunday Swap, launch. Those are things.
Yeah, but all that stuff is it's really just it's like building a Ferrari and having the Ferrari go run on a half finished highway. It's just kind of like, they didn't. And why are all the Cardano people buying and trading? Like, relax, people. What do you need to go on Sunday Swap for? Which coin are you arbitraging? Like, everyone just stop. Like, we don't need to test the network right now. Give it a couple days, couple weeks. We're going to scale. We're not going to scale for another year, right? It's going to be this, and that the demand is always going to be pushing it, and it's going to be FUD all around.
Exactly.
Scaling's not going to end probably until 2027. Like, I mean,
All right.
Anyway, it's my bet. Go back to the original point. When we think about the future of the Cardano community, I think it's critical that the Cardano community understand the extent of UTXO.
The importance of it.
Yeah. That this is the differentiating factor for us, and Ergo and Nervos and all these other models. We're going to, this alliance is going to say, look, guys, like, the global financial operating system is going to have a choice, and we all need to agree that this is the better choice for all the big players. So I like to see the expansion. I love my Cardano Ergo buddies. Like, I love that kind of expansion.
What's going to happen there? What do you foresee that's going to happen? Let's if the global blockchain community comes together and all decides that the UTXO model is basically the model to move with going forward. What's going to happen to the other chains that are not based on UTXL? Sorry.
Rick's going to be buying them a lot of tacos. They're not going to be as relevant. They're not going to be. I mean, you really just have to imagine an enterprise, a financial services organization sitting in a meeting and understanding clearly the difference between a global account model that whatever, feature rich, but feature rich. I want security, resource determinism. I want blah blah blah. Once they understand the difference, there's no way that Ethereum has a chance. There's no way they're going to want to code their applications in Solidity. It's as long as that education is there, for the large adopters, that we want. The only way that crypto succeeds is if we get real world assets on chain. Mortgages, NFTs are a real world asset. It's digital, but it's real world. Mortgages, healthcare data. The only way that crypto brings value in the long run and justifies trillions of dollars in market cap is by having real world stuff that's owned and controlled by incumbents coming on chain. And when you sit that person that manages $400 billion of blah, blah, blahs, and you explain UTXO versus the account model, there's just no way that they're going to choose the account model. There's no way. There's no way.
What are we doing wrong? Because then, is it because it's complex to explain, or there's just very few people besides what's his name again, Lars Brunjes? I've seen his presentation. He explained it brilliantly. It's like I mean, what can we do as a community, to get that news out? You just let go the SPO, MPO, all of that junk, and let's focus indeed on the more important stuff.
I think you don't onboard. I've been onboarding a lot of people, but it's mostly like buy ADA, and then ADA goes down 35%. It's just like I'm just so like ugh. You need to onboard executives. You need to get people not to buy ADA, but to understand it. I think that the people in this community, the Cardano community, that really understand how to explain why Cardano does offer more benefit, they need to start going to the boardrooms and befriending their neighbors and convincing people. Our whole task is convince people that Cardano is going to be the number one largest development platform by 2030. That's the only thing.
We need more ambassadors.
More ambassadors.
We need more ambassadors
that are trained. That
that's it.
Know how to speak.
Yeah, I agree.
That know how to that understand.
Yeah. I agree with you.
What's the difference between Plutus and Solidity? I heard there's not a lot of Haskell developers. Like, you need to have a really good response to that question.
Correct.
So I think training ambassadors to start going into C-suites and boardrooms, that's for me
that's the point. I'll take that point with me there, Garry, because there's a lot for me to learn as well. And I mean, me, I've been here, for many years. I'm not a developer. You know what I mean? So but still, the basic understanding of these stuff is really important, especially when you're trying to give people the basics.
So hard.
Yeah.
And then we haven't gotten to the identity stuff yet, and we haven't gotten to the governance. We got to remember Cardano's things are, digital assets, identity, and governance. How do you explain decentralized identity wallets?
Yeah.
I mean,
we can save that. We can
save that for another one. But
we can save that for another one. Yeah.
But it's what has always drawn me to Cardano and has kept me around is I've always felt that we've had the most curious community across all the crypto platforms. That most people that you meet that are like like full-on fans of Cardano know what they're talking about. You can say Plutus, you can say blah blah blah, and they know what it is.
Yeah.
But they have a good enough sense of it.
Good enough.
We are definitely the most informed.
One moment, Garry.
Yeah.
Plug in my laptop.
So one of the things that I'm going to be doing here is creating a course called Crypto for Creators. So I have this business called Into the Future here in Brooklyn and New York, where I work with young kids, and we build worlds, right? We play and build worlds. And I'm going to be creating this course called Crypto for Creators. It's focused on teenagers.
Yeah.
So it's basically looking at kind of the creator economy is like this YouTube, Twitch influencer. If you want to learn how to use something, you go to YouTube. Who tells you what to do? A creator, right? For better or for worse, these people are the storytellers and the guides of our world, right?
Yes.
I want to onboard teenagers that have aspiring creative careers. They want to be a musician, a filmmaker, an artist, whatever it is. I want to onboard those creative potential career people into Cardano. So so that's my next thing, is to try to build out young people, because right now they're like, where do they go? They go to the blockchain that they see on TikTok. And what do they see on TikTok? Not Cardano.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start to create this course to start bringing young people and make Cardano, hip.
Interesting. So that would mean, wait a second. I think IOG was coming out with these TikTok videos, right? Or not?
Yeah, it was Dave, and you don't.
Yeah.
It's not. TikTok is not just kids. There's adults. You want somebody that doesn't work for the project to make the film, the clips.
Okay. Yeah.
You want it to be coming from, the rabid fans.
Yeah. That's good. I love the idea there. I love that idea, Garry. How far are you right now with that?
The very beginning. So I was supposed to start the course with a local high school here in New York City, but it's a very small school, and the enrollment was too low. So now I'm basically just going to make it digital. So the goal is to launch it early March, just weeks away.
Just around the corner.
Yep. And just a very kind of small pilot cohort, synchronized, and then eventually it'll be a self-directed course. And my local goal in New York City is to have 10,000 New York City high school students take this Crypto for Creators course in the fall of 2022.
Wow.
So I want to kind of, pilot it, iterate, develop as a self-directed course.
Wow.
And then in the fall, try to get all of New York City talking about, why are all these high school kids talking about Cardano?
Man, that is amazing. It is ambitious, but go for it, Garry. Seriously,
go
for it.
Yeah. We're not dead, so you got to do something. You got to do something that's
keep me up to date on that, please.
Yeah.
Keep me up to date on that.
Yeah.
Of course, I don't have I think my niece, she's not, she lives in New York City, but she doesn't, she's not she's already an adult, I'm not sure she'll.
Yeah.
I know how my brother, he is interested in cryptocurrencies, but I haven't spoken to him in a while, so I have to check to see if how familiar he is with Cardano. Definitely.
We need to onboard people not to buy ADA, but onboard them to use ADA. That's the thing, right? Onboard them to use ADA, not to get rich off of ADA, but to build wealth and value because ADA exists.
Because it exists.
Don't get rich off the .com stock. Get rich because you have an internet of tools.
Yeah.
That's the mindset.
Love it. Yeah. Understandable also where we're going.
Yeah. But I am I mean, just to kind of, I think we're probably at time here. You know, I have never been more confident in Cardano. I mean, you think about the first time we spoke, it was just Charles AMAs. That was it.
That was it. Yeah.
We all had this belief that this thing could be built, and we've given birth to it, and it's painful, and there's drama, and there's people attacking, people apologizing. It's society, it's real life is happening right now. But the developers are innovating at a pace that is just beyond impressive. The tools that they're building are beyond impressive. And there's no doubt in my mind that Cardano is going to be the #1 blockchain development platform by 2030. It's a social mission driven project, and that beats, kill the bankers and anti fiat currency. Like that doesn't get you to mainstream. Like Bitcoin is powerful as a vision, but it doesn't cross the finish line. You need utility. You need real world use case. And that's going to be off of the identity, and it's going to be off of the governance. Cardano is just simply more useful than any other chain if we do what we're supposed to do.
If we deliver
if we deliver, and we will. We will.
I love that, man.
Yeah, we will.
Garry, I love that. I love your vision. Just that energy. And the thing is, I share that.
Yeah.
I share that.
That's why you reached out.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is, as you mentioned, back in the days, it was just Charles and the EMAs. And it was basically, theoretically, a lot of promises, etc. We need to get here to this stage and that stage. And then from that stage on, then it will go more faster. Development will move more faster.
And it is.
We trusted him based on his words.
Yeah.
Right. And now we're here in 2022, looking back at those words that he spoke in 2019, 2020, and we can see, hey, every single word that he spoke came true.
Yep.
Delivered on it.
Yep. And also listen to the stuff that he said about now it's the community's turn, right? And how hard it's going to be and how long it's going to be. And, crypto is not mainstream until 2025, 2028.
Wow. That's just around the corner.
It's just around the corner. But, it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Ahead.
One of the things that I will be working with, or at least trying to accomplish the coming years, that is to work with the government of St. Martin. That's one of the islands in the Caribbean.
Great.
Try and see if I can find in the say an entrance there.
Great.
And
great.
I don't know what area, but try and see if we can do something on the blockchain.
Telecom. The single most important, I think, strategic opportunity for Cardano at an enterprise level is empowering telecom.
Serious?
So it's, and I got to get going here in a minute because I got to go I got to go around the corner and pick up my kid. But it's the libertarian early, they built it. Then the artists come and they legitimize it for the entrepreneur, and then the enterprise, and then the government, right? That's the step and stage in the sequence, and telecom being empowered by identity wallets, by governance, by holding your social tokens is the biggest opportunity.
Interesting. Garry, I know you gotta go. Let's catch up on this again
because
this is so interesting. I gotta hear more on this. Seriously.
Yep. We can do it.
Thank you, man, for coming on again. And this was really fun. I mean, informal, but just great. I just love listening to you and learning, from your insights.
It's always great to talk.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
know. You're a great asset. You're a great asset to the
Yeah.
community, Gary. Thanks, man.
You too. All right. Take care, buddy.
Take care. Take care. Hold the line a bit there, Gary. Let me just stop.